All righty. Hello, everyone. I am so excited and I want to welcome you to our info session. Thanks so much for joining me for the next hour. I am Bria Davenport. I'm the middle school program coordinator here at Student U, and I'm excited to talk to you all about our organization and how you can become a part of our community starting this summer. I started at Student U as an 8th grade summer academy teacher in 2016, right after graduating from North Carolina A&T. And I have been here for the most part, mainly ever since, so about 5 years. Student U is really a perfect community to blossom and find your passion and find your brilliance, as we like to call it here. And I came in right after receiving my fashion degree and having a job background in childcare. And I found something that worked for me with coordinating programming here. And I feel like this environment is a great space to grow. It's been a really great experience. And I hope that you'll have that experience for yourself as well. All right, so here is the lowdown on our time together. As you know, this session is going to be recorded. You can join canva.live, like I said before, and enter that code. If you have a question or a comment, you can easily drop that in there for me. And it'll be easy for me to see as I am presenting. There will be a Q&A at the end, but just in case you don't want to forget, you can drop your questions in throughout, and all hearts or reactions, amens or yes, are welcome as well. And you can click the heart at the bottom right of your screen on the canva.live screen to share any reactions. Okay. All righty, let's get into it. So Student U is a community organization that uses the power of education, advocacy, and leadership to build a just and equitable Durham. Our mission is we empower and equip first-generation college students in Durham Public Schools, their families, and educators to become the leaders that will transform our city. So why we exist? Every person is worthy of opportunities to help them grow and thrive throughout their educational journey. And however, as most of us know, this is not our current reality. Across the US and here at home in Durham, first-generation college-bound students live and learn within a broken system that prevents them from reaching their full potential. Structural racism, intergenerational poverty, and other injustices create significant personal and institutional barriers to success for entire communities. And this results in disparities that follow young people throughout their educational experiences. And Student U exists to combat those issues and hopefully change that narrative. So how do we do that? So we exist because of all of these things, but what do we exactly do? So our work is done through a three-pronged approach. So a whole family's approach. Most organizations similar to ours really focus on students. We focus on students and their families. We know that families want to be a part of their students' lives and their journeys, but may not have the resources or prior knowledge to help them with that. But so our main goal is to be able to teach and help the full family to best support the student. The second approach is sharing our best practices. Over about 13 years here at Student U, we've been able to create some really great practices that have garnered great results. And this is something new that we have been doing to be able to share our best practices with DPS, with also other schools and organizations like ours across the state and across the country. And the third thing is student and family-led advocacy. It's really a big thing, not just for our parents and students to be able to navigate the system, but also to advocate for a better system. So we are also working with our parents and students on the best ways so they can advocate for themselves in the school, the community, and other areas. So the program is set up through an 11-year pipeline. So students come to us through a lottery. So they apply around the end of the year in their 5th grade year. Or we also have started letting high schoolers apply as well. But most of the time they apply in their 5th grade year, they go through a lottery, and then they start their Rising 6th grade summer in our middle school program. Throughout those 3 years in middle school program, they come to our 5-week summer academy, and then they move to our school year programming where they're here after school Monday through Thursday. And then in high school, they are able to have advocates who come to check in on them at their respective schools. They also have a lot of job training and also internships. And then once we move into college, we don't leave them, we stick with them. And we have our college success program where we have a college success coordinator who checks in with them, make sure they have the resources they need on their campus, help them navigate that, also does some connecting with them, with other student youth students that may be on campus with them. And our main foundation with each part of our programs is family engagement and individual academic and social emotional support. All right, so here is what everyone has come here for, which is teaching at Student U. So our pipeline, which is something new that we have put out this year, stepping into the U. Our main thing is, uh-oh, that is flashing weird. I hope y'all can see that. No, I think it's still flashing very interestingly. Sorry about that. Okay. So the main thing is we want you to be able to learn about us, apply and interview with us, and stick around for maybe 1 to 2 years. So the apply and interview portion, you are finding a summer open position that aligns with your goals, your passions, and your interests. Right now, for all the teaching positions are middle school core teachers, high school core teachers, and elective teachers. The difference is middle school core teachers is ELA, math, science, and global connect, which is our version of social studies. All of that curriculum has been curated by area teachers and educators, and they have put together different curriculum and lesson plans for your 5-week tenure here at Summer Academy. And then for the elective teachers, you are coming up with about 2.5-week lessons or curriculum for your class that's based on art, wellness, and I'm missing one, but art and wellness and STEM, that's the other one. And those things, and you'll be able to teach a few classes of high school and 1 class of middle school students during the day. And then after the 2.5 weeks, you'll switch and then you'll get a new set of students. So the interview process is pretty easy. So you have the Q&A session where we'll ask some questions of you and you'll answer them. And then there's a 10-minute lesson demo where we get to see the skills that you're coming in with, seeing where you need to be coached. And then we will provide the materials to you ahead of time. All right, your first year at Summer will start at Summer Academy. We hope that you'll be able to build your resume and workforce experience in our Student Youth Summer Academy. For our teachers, that lasts about 8 weeks full time. So you'll start 2 weeks in June with a 2-week teacher training where you'll learn and gain additional experience in classroom management techniques, restorative practices, being an anti-racist educator, being a trauma-informed educator, plus community building with your teammates and more. We're really big on community building and making sure that your team is right and you get to know your people really well, but also we want to make sure that you have the skills to be a successful teacher as well. And then after those 2 weeks, you get to meet your students and you have a 5-week summer academy, plenty of time to get to know them, teach either middle school or high school students in a core class or an elective class, receive individualized mentorship from a veteran Durham educator. So each teacher will receive their own mentor teacher based on either their, whether you have an elective or based on your core class. And then work with a team of teachers to develop the best ways to support your students, plus talent shows, Olympic Day, Spirit Week, all the fun things that come along with like a summer camp vibe. But we want to make sure that we are setting our students up well for the upcoming year. So here you can see, some of our kids singing during the talent show. Olympic Day with our 8th graders and them showing their spirit. And down here below are some of our teachers doing what they do best. All right. After that 5 weeks with your students, you'll have 1 week of evaluations. So you'll share your summer learnings with the full team, and then you'll gain feedback from your mentor teachers, just some things to like leave off with that you can either take into your everyday life or take into whatever you're going to be doing for the next school year, and completing comprehensive evaluations for your students that will help the next coming in student use staff with that student, or just helps as we are going into the school year. We can share their information with teachers, their schools, and things to make sure they have the most success. The first year, our hope is that you will move along with us into the school year. We'll have a conversation towards the end of the summer. We'll share some opportunities with you and see what works best for your schedule that will keep you a part of our community. So summer academy teachers have the opportunity to apply for, in middle school, we have a year-round, we call it YRP, year-round programming, middle school advocate position, where you will lead parts of our after-school program, middle school academic coach position, where you will support a small group of students with maybe some executive functioning, completing homework, but they just need more one-on-one assistance, and that's about 6 hours a week. Middle school tutor, where you can come and volunteer for about 3 hours a week during the after school program and tutor our students, or say the afternoon is just not working for you, and you can help support us in administrative support to help get us ready for either afternoon plans or just maybe some future planning that we need to do. And that happens at least 3 hours a week. In high school, they also have year-round programming, but it looks a little different, like I said before. High school advocate positions, this looks a little different from the middle school. You will be checking in with high school students in the program at their respective schools. College advisor position, where you can help prep our high school seniors in the college application process and also prep our juniors to get ready for that. High school academic coach position, where you will be supporting a small group of students similar to before with some one-on-one assistance. And high school tutor position, we have high school tutoring 2 days a week in person, and that will be happening at least 3 hours a week. All right, how's everybody feeling? I hope everybody's okay. You can put it in the chat whether you're feeling good. If I need to slow down, let me know as well. All right, then the years after then, oh, it's showing up much better now. Then the years after then, you will continue through summer academy, continue through our school year, and level up in different positions. With program and admin, we have grade heads, where you get to manage your full grade of teachers and students. We have a PCA, where it's program coordinator assistant, where you get to assist with all the coordinating of our programs, and other positions that keep us running, but also allow you to level up your skills and be ready to either stay with us and keep growing after your second year, or go into a school or different organizations, and you'll have all the tools and skills that you need to do great work. All right, a typical day at Summer Academy. So our middle and high school schedules mirror each other. So during Summer Academy, you will only see 9th and 10th grade at Summer Academy, and for middle school, you'll see full 6th through 8th. Hopefully everybody can see the times really well, but staff will arrive around 7:30. We have what we call morning brill, which is just a nice kickoff in the morning. We circle outside, talk through some announcements, just get ready for the kids to arrive. Around 7:45 is when students arrive. We provide breakfast for them, give them some time to get their breakfast in and just get warmed up for the day. And then we have what we call meet and greet, which is just a morning time. It's kind of almost like a morning meeting, getting kids ready for the day, getting them excited. Most of the time it involves a game and just getting their energy up. And then in middle school, we have what we call Read Fearlessly, which is kind of like a book club. Each grade has their own book that they'll be assigned to read. And then it also will have lessons, vocabulary, and other things that will help them with reading comprehension and just gaining a love for books. during that time, and our students love it, and you will co-teach with another teacher in your grade for that time. And for high school, you will teach a homeroom class, again, co-teaching with another teacher on the team to help students with any like life skills, mindfulness, and other things that kind of help prepare them for the next level. And each of our periods are 60 minutes. So first through fifth period is all 60 minutes, and our electives go throughout the day. Anytime that you are not teaching, so you don't teach all 5 periods, anytime that you are not teaching, you have a planning period that will give you time to do prep any lesson materials, also be able to just be prepared and in a great mindset for your students when it's time. And at the end of the day, on the high school side, you have clubs, so it might be a book club, or on some days or in a mural club where you could do like basketball, soccer, art, all those different things. And on the middle school side, we have family and snack time. So on a regular core team of teachers, you'll have 4 teachers for all 4 core classes, and you'll have about 25 students who you are responsible for, and that becomes a family. So this is your time to get to know each other, have some bonding time, and then we provide an afternoon snack for them as well. We also provide lunch that happens in the middle of the day. And then we dismiss around 3:50, and you are good to go around 4:30 if like it's just enough time for you to wrap up the day, prepare for the next day. And once a week, every Tuesday, we have an hour staff meeting. All right, so here's some FAQs before we get into our Q&A session. Here are just some things that hopefully may answer some questions you may have. So when do you start? We have some pre-summer teacher training that will happen April 2nd. During that day, you will receive your book for Read Fearlessly or your book club, so you can read ahead of time and be prepared for when your students arrive. You also will get to meet your mentor teacher and learn more about the curriculum that you'll be teaching. And also they'll provide you some materials to review in time for your teacher orientation, which happens June 6th through the 16th. These will all happen in person. Of course, with any COVID guidelines. June 11th is what we call Family Day. All of our families that will be coming to Summer Academy will be in attendance. That will get to meet you, their teachers, which is going to be really exciting. They get to learn more about Summer Academy and what will be happening this year. That is just such a great time. You get to meet your parents and they get to love on you, and it's really awesome. June 20th, we won't have any programming to observe Juneteenth. And June 21st through the July 22nd is the 5-week summer program in person with students. That's approximately 9 hours a day, and you'll have 1 hour weekly staff meetings on Tuesdays. July 25th through the 28th is your evaluation week, like we talked about before. And you might have some extra spring work sessions that may be worked into your time between April and June to help you be prepared for training and also for students coming, but just know all prep work will be compensated. The difference between core and elective teachers. So again, core subjects are ELA, Global Connect, Math, and Science. All core subject classes are implemented by a curriculum designed specifically for student use Summer Academy, and it was created by a team of experienced educators within the Durham community. Core subject teachers will be responsible for creating teaching tools that will accompany each lesson. So think of presentations and handouts each day, teaching the curriculum developed for their course. And they also will evaluate student growth using the pre and post assessments created for each course. Elective subjects, each elective teacher will have their own self-developed course with assistance from a mentor teacher, and they will teach our rising 6th through 10th graders. Elective teachers will be responsible for developing their own curriculum, creating the teaching tools, resources that will accompany each lesson, teaching and evaluating the students using pre and post tests. Again, you will have assistance of a mentor teacher. All of that work will be done during the spring and will be compensated. Oh, I see we have a question. Yes, I will get to that. Where does Summer Academy take place? So our Summer Academy takes place at Durham Academy, which is located at 3116 Academy Road in Durham. Students come from all over Durham. Some of them come from the outskirts of Durham to attend our programming, which is so exciting. Do you need any teaching experiences in order to be a successful teacher? I am someone who did not have any teaching experience with our middle or high school age. I was a dance teacher to 3- and 4-year-olds before I became a student youth teacher. So no, you don't. While we love to work with experienced educators, you are not required to have previous experience in order to apply. We often hire summer teachers from whom this will be their first time working with middle or high schoolers, and will provide you with all the training that you need and support to make sure that you are teaching your students to a high level this summer. All right, we have a testimonials here. Give me 1 second. We're going to hear first from Mr. James. Mr. James is, this past summer was his 3rd summer at Student U. James has been with us for a long time. He's an NC State grad of 2021, and he now teaches in the area school. And he wanted to share a little bit about why you should teach at Student U. So give me 1 second to pull it up for you.
My name is James Daniels. I teach 6th grade Global Connect. What is my why? My why, well, I go by a 3-tiered system. So I do beauty, love, and restoration. And I believe, basically, that I believe in the beauty of all people, especially our students, and especially when I'm talking about middle school. It's just something about that age where there's so much opportunity for exploration and creativity. And I love that. I love that. I love seeing that in our students. And so I love to acknowledge that beauty.
Are y'all able to hear the video? I just want to make sure. Or do I need to fix? Okay, you can hear me, but you can't hear the video. Okay, great. I just want to.
And with that beauty, I think acknowledging that then requires love. And to me, love is action. So that action, of course, is teaching, but also showing our students that they're valuable, that their creativity is valuable, and not only is it valuable, but it's needed. And I love to see that, and I want to be the person that can show that love and encourage that passion as they continue to do the great things that I know that they'll all do. And then comes the last tier, which is restoration, which is the idea that we live in a really broken world right now. And as hard as it's going to be to fix it, and it definitely won't happen in my generation, maybe it'll be the next or the one after or 100 generations after that. But the whole idea is that we are building a world that's going to be better for the next and the next, and for the people who are already here. And I believe that our students are the people who are going to do that. What is my favorite memory at Summer Academy this year? I think I have 2 that kind of go together. There's one when I was teaching my 6th grade class, and we were playing Into the Thick of It by the Backyardigans. And I mean, they was just killing it on the dance floor. I mean, like, it wasn't a dance floor, it was a classroom, it was in front of the classroom. But it's just early in the morning, nobody's got energy, but they're just over there hitting whatever they was hitting. I was having a great time, recorded it and everything. It was one of my favorite moments, because I was like, man, not having 15 kids in here just dancing to the Backyardigans, you know. But definitely, I think one of my most inspiring moments, the student I taught 4 years ago in my first 7th grade classroom, mad nervous. I had seen him, he had a passion for rapping, and seeing him close out our talent show called the Brill Bash this year was one of his raps. I was blown away, and I was his performance coach this year. Man, came to me ready, he came prepared, and then he came and he shut it down, and I was just so proud to see him blossom and flourish. I was like, that's why I'm here for. That's what I do, you know, to come see kids like that, knowing that they're going to restore the world with their creativity, and I love that. Why is teaching at Student U important to me? You know, I came to Student U at a time where I was still questioning whether or not I wanted to be an educator. It was my entire major, but it was my freshman year, so I was like, if I'm going to change it, now's the time. And I think that the mission of Student U, where we're reaching out to students to show them that there is an opportunity past high school to, of course, go to college or to do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever creative possibilities that you have in your mind, and show them that that is possible. And we here as a community are here to support you. I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that my personal vision aligns with that. Where I'm thinking of, they're thinking of creating a better Durham, and I'm thinking of creating a better world because of a broken Durham and a broken world. And thinking that, and knowing that our students, even now, students that have been through the program, students that we have right now, even in 6th grade, are like going to be the ones to do that, are going to be the change makers, going to be the policy makers, the teachers, the creatives, whatever we need. Like, we're creating that community here in Durham as just like a microcosm of what we need to do in the world, so that we can push them out in order to like change things that are currently affecting us. So I think that what Student U does here in Durham, that like community focus towards students that most schools really don't get right, I think that's why it's important to have Student U, and that's why it's important for me to be here, because we need everybody who is here in order to achieve that mission. So I'm just a small part of a bigger working gear, and I'm happy to be here for that. Would I recommend Student U to other people? Absolutely. I think it's a great program for the students. I would recommend other students. I think it's a great program for college students who are still figuring some things out, figuring out what they want to do with their life or how they can have an impact. It's great overall. So absolutely, I would recommend Student U to other people.
All right. Now we're going to hear from one more.
Switch the screen back. I hope y'all enjoyed that video. All right, now I'm going to hear from Miss Danette.
Hi, my name is Danette.
This was her third summer as well. Hold on, she's starting without me. Her third summer as well as Student U. Danette started out with no teaching experience as well. She is a UNC Chapel Hill student, and she also has come back 2 years in a row to be a YRP advocate. So coming back during the school year as a middle school advocate, and she continues to stay in touch with our community and our students as well over time. So let's hear from her.
I taught 8th grade English this past summer. So my why would be the students. I come back to Student U all the time for the students and families. I think that our students deserve to be in a space where they can be validated and appreciated. I think that we all deserve to feel included, like I said, be validated, and be in a safe space where we can be our authentic selves. My favorite memory of this summer, whoa, I have a lot of those, but it would be most definitely for my creative writing elective. We were going around and interviewing staff members, and they picked these staff members, and just seeing the look of their faces after their first interview was completed was amazing, because they were like, oh my gosh, Miss Danette, I did it, or they would be like, wow, that was awkward, but I liked it. When are we having our next interview? And just seeing the excitement and seeing them glow and feeling so accomplished was very rewarding to me. Teaching at Student U is important to me because Student U is student-driven and family-driven, and Student U mission statement aligns with my beliefs, which is empowering the community of Durham, which, in Durham there's a very diverse population, and I just really align with the mission statement, and coming back is very rewarding to me, and it makes me feel like I'm making a difference. So Student U is a place where you impact others and you make a difference. I would highly recommend people to teach at Student U. It is a very rewarding job. You learn a lot about yourself. You build connections with the staff, with students, with families. For example, when I'm out in Durham and I see a student, I like have to stop and like their family is greeting me and I'm greeting them, and it's just, I really recommend teaching at Student U because it's like you're at home.
Guys enjoyed that. So remember, the deadline for applications is January 31st, 2022. More information can be found on our website at studentu.durham.org /summer-academy-jobs. This session is recorded and we post it on our site. I also will be emailing the recording to you as well later, maybe tomorrow. And then please share these opportunities widely. Share the link. You will be able to share the video because it'll be posted on the website as well. And then you can always email me if you want to send anyone my way, or if you have questions after our session that we don't answer tonight, you can email me at bria.davenport@studentudurham.org. Okay. All right, now to get into some questions. Someone put a question in the thing. They asked, what is the work attire for Summer Academy? So as you can see, I am in a hoodie. We're pretty comfortable around here, but what we like to call it is smart casual. So a little less than business casual. So khakis, a nice shirt could be great. A cute dress, jeans is definitely allowed. We basically say no leggings, crop tops, or things like that that wouldn't be appropriate for work. You really want to make sure that whatever you're wearing is making you look like the teacher in the room. So students are, will understand and notice. But also we want you to be comfortable and show off your great style as you would like to do. So hair colors, all those things are great as well. The other question was, and I see someone in the chat, are sneakers allowed for teachers? Yes, I have a lot of sneakers. You're gonna do a lot of walking. I love wearing my sneakers to work as well. So yes, sneakers are allowed. Main thing is just don't want, unless you are doing like a workout class or something like that, obviously no leggings or like gym attire. But if you have your sneakers that you want to dress up and look cute and stuff like that, definitely open to doing that. And are school supplies provided for teachers and students? Yes, all supplies and materials that you need for your classes are provided to you by Student U. So you don't need anything but a laptop. Even if you don't have a laptop, we'll make sure that we have one for you available. And then any other things that students may need for projects and stuff like that as well, it's all provided by Student U. So no worries on that. Give me 1 second. Can we connect on LinkedIn? Yep, we sure can. And you can look me up on LinkedIn. I am Bria Davenport. And what is the timeline for hearing back with interviews and acceptances? So after January 31st, our HR manager, Casey, will reach out with more information on how you can sign up for your interview. And then everyone should hear back. I'm trying to look at my calendar. Everyone should be hearing back with acceptances around the end of February. So that way you'll know you have about a month out to kind of get prepared. Can teachers be called at first? Yep, definitely. Yep, definitely. It's all up to you. Those are just what those teachers like to be called, but it's definitely up to you. However you would like for them to address you, it's all up to you. Yep, we're very inclusive. Any other questions? These are great questions, by the way. And I will post my email address back on the screen towards the end as well for you. Any other questions? Okay, someone says, it's a crazy time with the pandemic. Yep. And I certainly don't expect you to predict the future, but is there any chance teaching online if the pandemic picks up again? I can't exactly say about teaching online. There might be some like different protocols and things that could happen with in-person. That definitely is an option. Also, just FYI, we have been in person for, we had a learning center for the first part of the pandemic when kids were virtual, where kids could come to our main building at the W. Pearson Center and do work. And we didn't have any widespread. We've also did our last summer academy in person, took a lot of COVID precautions. As you can see in some of the other pictures, those were pictures from our last summer. All kids were masked up. Kids were all in there, one little hub of kids, unless they were outside. That's the only time they're together. Even now, when we still have our after school program that's still running, kids from all different schools, and they're still in their little pod of students, masked at all times, timed when their mask is off for like snack eating inside, and they only see their other friends from other schools or their other pods when they're outside. So definitely taking all the precautions that we can. We provide masks, we provide wipes, all of those things as well. But yes, we have been very successful with being in person and no widespread. And then there's always a chance if things do continue to pick up again, that there'll be even maybe stricter precautions if necessary. Yep. Hopefully that answered your question. Any other questions? I did great on time. Hopefully I did not speed through. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me this evening. Again, I will put my email address on the screen. My email address is also in the chat. Let me go back so I can do that. Oh, I went back to mine. Okay. Here we go. Yes, again, deadline is January 31st. You will hear from Casey around that first week on sign up for your interview. And then after interviews commence, you will hear from us later in the month with acceptances, okay? And I'm so excited to have you guys be a part of this experience. And thanks again. Have a great evening.